Lawrence and Kirk Cousins and a few other guys probably.
Damn,
But
Cousins.
Kirk Cousins is a high-end quarterback too, year in year out, and he's in a way more friendly offense for his skill set, dude. He might be like quarterback 7. We might be talking about Kirk Cousins.
He might sneak up on us this year. I'll admit that. Yeah, he might.
And if they suck, crunch time Kirk Cousins, garbage time Kirk Cousins, crazy. He's the perfect garbage time guy.
God, I love garbage time Kirk Cousins. That motherfucker will throw 2 touchdowns down 4 and save you.
Both to Adam Thielen.
Yeah. I remember one game I had Adam Thielen, and motherfucker done nothing the whole game, and I fell asleep because I hit a couple too many truly on a Sunday, and I fell asleep. That motherfucker, I woke up, he had 24 points, and I was like, shit, that was in the last fucking 10 minutes of that game because they were down big. Love it.
Your overrated running back. Well, early overrated. J.K. Dobbins.
So here's the thing. You look at the situation and you're like, okay, lack of competition. I wouldn't really say friendly offense, but lack of competition is enough to make me excited, right? It could take in my opinion, the lack of competition could take a running back 3 and make him a high-end running back 2 just because of the amount of work they're going to get. Here's what I don't like. J.K. Dobbins is going entirely too high based off of that fact alone. I talk about it all the time. For me, the draft, I let it fall. Whatever the fuck happens. I try not to get too big of a boner about a certain player or another, but this is a guy, I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but this is a guy that just goes too high. Cam Akers is another.
He's at RB20 right now, but he's been rising. Like as he heals, he rises on underdog. So it's not perfect. It's too early. So I see him ranked at RB14, 15 in that range.
I can still think of.
I think that's too high. I think 20 might be around the range, but anywhere over 18, way too high for him.
Yeah, and he's just. I mean, he had that one couple games where he averaged a really high yards per carry. Great. It's been a whole year. Lamar Jackson. Here's the way I see it going. Lamar Jackson ain't been paid, and there's something to say about that. I think Lamar Jackson goes out there and, I mean, I've seen Lamar Jackson on easy reads, right? You got Mark Andrews over the middle. You got, someone flying high over the safety. He'll still fucking run it. And I think this is the year that he makes a statement. I do believe Lamar Jackson will be in the MVP conversation just because he's trying to get fucking paid. I think he's kind of in that Kyler Murray situation where he feels disrespected by the fact he hasn't been paid. This is not a year I would want to have a J.K. Dobbins on my roster. I just think he's going to try to do too much himself, prove his worth, and that is just purely speculation on my point, and I could be 100% wrong. But I could think of, if I'm drafting my second running back, I could think of a whole hell of a lot more people that I'd rather roster than that
guy. Another thing with Dobbins, he lacks talent competition. He is clearly the most talented back. They're going to have a committee, though. Gus Edwards is going to see some work.
Agreed.
Mike Davis is going to see some work. And think about it.
Davis is there? Shit.
Yeah. They had two running backs tear their ACL last year, Edwards and Dobbins. Do you really think he's going to get that much work? I mean, this is metaphorically speaking. I don't get I get the Dobbins hype because he's a really talented player, and sure, like if Harbaugh just finally said, cool, we're going to give him 65% of the work, yeah, he's probably going to be like a low RB1, high-end RB2, but with where it's at now, I don't see it either. I do think Lamar's going to have a hell of a season. I'm not I still don't think he's a great passer, and part of that's because of the weapons around him. It's not all his fault.
They
Part of
did
it's
his
the offense.
dirty in this draft. Like they trade his not so great wide receiver one. I'm not saying he's not great, but he wasn't great for that offense. They trade him and do what? Draft him a couple more fucking tight ends. That's what they did, dude. Like day
No,
one,
I know.
my takeaway from day one, I was like, wow, the Packers and the Ravens hate their fucking quarterback
I
because
think the difference though was the Packers ended up addressing it. And I 100% believe that Aaron Rodgers is going to be just fine. I'm sure he bitched about it.
Yeah.
But he'll be just fine.
Aaron
Lamar,
Rodgers pulled up to that fucking office the next day and he's like, look, I can retire and I'll be fine. You better fucking do something about it. Lamar Jackson just posted something on Twitter and went to bed. That's the difference.
my running back, Cam Akers. You mentioned him.
Yep.
11 out of 13 running backs who have suffered a torn Achilles were out of the league 2 years after the injury happened. There's only been 13.
11 out of 13, you said?
11 out of 13 did come back. Now, there's some context to be had. The two that hadn't, or the two that have not, they haven't hit the two. Well, one of them's hit the 2-year span. One of them will this year. Deontay Foreman had 1 year where he barely produced this year. And then Marlon Mack, who last year didn't get any workload, this year we'll see. We'll be able to gauge that. Now, I'm not, and this is, take this, subtweet it at James Robinson. It's the same deal. I'm not saying, an Akers or Robinson are going to be out of the league in 2 years, but what I'm saying is that they aren't a high-level running back anymore. Science has came a long way. Medicine has came a long way. I am sure that they are better at fixing that issue now than they were even 3 years ago with the speed in which that happens.
Right.
But I don't think they've came that far. In the NBA, it kind of has. Like a guy like Kevin Durant tore it, came back, played 40 fucking minutes in the playoffs, and then this year was cooking people just like normal. But for the running back, and Kevin Durant's a freak. But for running backs, it's too important. Cutting, explosiveness, too important.
It's a less physical sport, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they're lighter people. They're lighter, which matters. It's a lighter load. And he's in a committee.
Play as much as Kevin Durant does at 6'10" or however big he is. So
210.
I'm probably 210. Yeah.
Akers is also in a committee with Henderson. Like they're gonna be in. There's gonna be some type of work split. Fuck, last year Michelle was getting all of it, but there's gonna be some type of split there. So yeah, I'd rather have ETNs, Jacobs, AJ Dillon, Miles Sanders, throw in J.K. Dobbins, a few other guys.
Disrespect Josh Jacobs. On a side note, people disrespect Josh Jacobs. The guy's a 1,200-yard machine, and that's just 100%. I'd rather have Josh Jacobs than Cam Akers. And last year, I saw his recovery, and I was really excited by that, but he went to the playoffs and really didn't produce.
It's the Achilles, dude. That's how that works. I knew it. No one, the normies don't get it.
You. For me, his playoff run was his audition to be a part of my fantasy team, and I didn't like what I saw.
He looked bad. He got a lot of work and looked bad.
And he got a lot of work. And you really got to look at it. You really got to look at it from the fact that you got a sample right there.